Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Sharking Grounds, the game where, the casters, they make their pitch, they try and sell us their team, and, well, we're going to be sitting back with our checkbooks and evaluating them. Tim, you did spend a little money on the last break, so you got to be a little bit careful with this round of investments.
Yeah, you got to really manage that checkbook well. I'm old enough to have used a checkbook, so, I'll be careful with it.
Be careful. I mean, we have two fantastic teams coming out to the studio, coming up to the plate, and now it's time to bring in Beatdown Boulevard and Mad Magical to try and pitch us their teams, try and sell us on this developing talent that we have here. Of course, Beatdown couldn't quite get a fish to bite last time around, but now with Evil Genius Prodigies, they were looking better. They didn't quite get the win, but I want to know, how much are you looking for this team and why should we invest in you?
All right. I'm going to start it off by saying Evil Genius Prodigies. Evil Genius is an org. We're the first LCS team to really put a stake in amateur. It's been about almost a year and a half, I think, when they took over a team called Zenith. And what that means is that over time, what they are so good at is developing players. It's spring. We still have summer. We still have months of development to come through here. And just a reminder of who have come out of the EG system. Danny was part of EGP. Y'all remember him? I do. Also, of course, Jojo Pyun, who's making waves in the LCS. Now, yes, we hype up Faisal. We hype up players like Leo. And maybe game one they didn't develop today. But with time, they will get it together. And that's why I'm asking you, for $150,000 in 1 year, you will get a return, because betting on EGP is betting on the future.
I have a couple of questions.
All right.
So you're staking a lot of your brand play here, I think, on being this LCS org first in, and putting a real stake down in amateur. It seems like you're getting into a pretty competitive space here. What if 100 Thieves come in and say, "Hey, we did 100 Thieves next, way before that," and just squash you like a bug on your brand play there?
It doesn't matter. We do it just as well as they do. And again, we still have lists of players who have made it all the way to that top level, even though 100X and 100 Thieves as a whole have been doing a pretty good job. I don't think they can say they've done as much as EGP have and will do.
That's a tenacious pitch. I like it.
All right. Last quick question before we head over to Mad Magical. You've talked a lot about players who have left. We're not investing in those players. I want to know about the players that are on the team, and specifically who that I should be looking at to make me that money back in the next year.
Anybody?
Be done?
Beat down?
Oh, sorry. I thought you
Beat
said magical. What?
No,
okay.
Last question to you. I want to know who on this team that I am investing in now, not the past players. I want to know who I'm looking at now for my investment back in the next year.
I'm going to say Faisal. He's still the guy on the squad to watch out for. He's still the guy to bet on. Yes, the Kennen didn't work out, but watch for game 2 and watch for his future, Sierra. He is that guy.
All right. Now, Golden Guardians Academy. They were the ones managing to take the win the first time around. Mad Magical, how much are you looking for the squad, and tell us why?
200K for 2 years? I'll tell you why. Because you look at this team, they're impressive. They have so many different champions that every one of their members can play. They have so many different styles. You look at Tony Top, he's dominating the top lane, always looking to see if he can find those solo bolos. Iconic when he tag teams with Ryoma, that duo right there, you could sell that alone and make profit. Violet Chime, I look at Violet, a new player who stepped in, but he's already been to Worlds. This guy we already know is incredibly talented. Then you look at Chime, playing with 2 different ADCs throughout this year, and then always dominating, always being the one to set up the plays. Even in that last game, there was no handshake in that bot lane. It was all about the takeover that he managed to have, his flash forwards, and grasping the victory for his team.
So I had, some of my advisors do a little bit of background research on this Golden Guardians Academy team, and they said that one of the things that made them so great was this player they had, Stixay. Tell me why they're still worth investing in, even though they have Violet with them now.
Well, first off, Stixay is still with the org. He is coach for the team. Coach of the year, you might even say. And looking at how they've been playing without him, too, Chime, if you look at how he's played with Stixay and with Violet, it's clear to me that Time is actually the one who made that bot lane possible when Stixxay was playing instead of Violet. Time is the one setting up his AD carries to get kills, to be aggressive, to play forward, even then rotating around the map after he's already set up his bot lane to then facilitate the rest of his team.
All right, I just want to know then for this team, because you've talked a lot about these players and their strengths, and I love that. But in terms of them playing together, they did manage to take the win coming out in this first game, but it was a little shaky at first with Evil Genius's Prodigy looking pretty good. Do you think that Golden Guardians will be able to maintain this winning team mentality that they have going on?
Oh yeah, for sure. They got counterpicked in mid lane, and yet still were able to come out swinging. They've got this in the bag.
This in the bag. All right. I mean, I like your confidence. I love the coach. I would be interested. I'm willing to stick with this investment, but I do want to make sure this coach is sticking around for this team's future for the long haul to make sure they can all work together going forward.
As far as I know, that's the case.
All right. All right, then I think we have ourselves a deal unless Tim's going to chime in here.
You know what? I'm gonna be out for now on both, but I'm gonna come back to this Prodigious EG deal, and I'll revisit it at a future date.
All right, well, Sierra, you and I got a deal.
All right, pleasure doing business with you. And Snoo Investor, we'll have to see Golden Guardians Academy if they can maintain their win streak, go on, get a 2-0 in the series, or if Evil Genius's Prodigy have what it takes to bounce back. Beatdown Boulevard, Mad Magical, it's time for the game, so take it away, you two.
Thank you so much, Sierra and Tim. Again, we'll see you after this game or series potential, because now it's 1-0. EGP, they're at death's door. They could get knocked down to the lower bracket if they don't bounce back now, Beatdown.
No, that is the big thing here. EGP, of course, we talked about it again. We've already sent an amateur team to that lower bracket earlier on in Taco Gaming, and now EGP backs against the wall, looking to be the second one potentially. But of course, the bounce back that we're going to see. We see that they have chosen to stay on the red side, and they could still wait to give that top counter pick over to Faisal. I like that they were going for that one, and I think because we've seen Faisal play a multitude of champions, of course, it could just be a different route where they go for it here. It doesn't have to be the Kennen. We've seen him again. We've seen him play the Tryndamere, which we know to be very good today. We've seen even today, and also his legendary Gangplank.
That is a lot. There's a lot of options on the side of Evil Genius's Prodigies. The Gangplank is something I'd like to see a Faisal, but I'm also looking towards Perry and Leo in this game and what they can pull out. Perry, well known for his cane and how powerful that champion can be when in his hands, but Leo, the marksman in mid lane. Kaitsa we've already seen, actually, popping up in mid lane, but the Draven Ezreal are specials that he's talked about many a time. And looking at that as a possibility, especially with how far we are into the bans already, you have two junglers banned on one side, a marksman on GGA's side as well, the Diana and the Rise taken away from the side of Golden Guardian.
The interesting thing with that Draven mid too, it is because there's talk of responses to the Kaisa mid. Of course, we know it scales very well into those later parts of the game, but as we've seen today and other days, it is a little weak in the laning phase. I think that's what would open up for that pick from Leo if it actually managed to come through. I mean, it's still up and available, even though the Diana is now removed for Iconic by EGP. You still could see that first pick Kaisa come through just because of how strong it is right now. You can flex it. Violet clearly can play it. I have no doubts Ryoma can as well.
Same here, and I would expect that to be the same here in this game. But they don't. Instead, they take that Viego away from Perry.
Makes sense as well. I mean, now at this point, you maybe don't want to pull the Kaisa right away because you don't have plans for the same dive composition now the Diana is taken away, and there's really no other situation where you would pick Yasuo for Ryoma. So it's a strong, safe blind jungle that you can go for here, and now Perry does have a few others to pick from here. You could go for Lee Sin, could go for Xin, although we've seen him fall off because of the nerfs, but right now it is the Kaisa hover, and they want to take that one for themselves.
Yeah, they themselves grab Kaisa. I'm expecting it for Sketch, even though I just talked about how Leo can play these marksmen in mid lane. Just because I look at Zeri still available for either side, and with the Kaisa now taken by EGP, I would imagine that Violet would answer in kind by grabbing Zeri.
Yeah, it is very possible because both are pretty short ranged. It makes for an all right matchup either way. But right now, we are waiting to see the jungle pick coming through. So it will be the Xin Zhao. So the interesting thing, of course, 12-5, he was nerfed a bit. 1 second less of a duration. I believe it's from 5 to 4 seconds on the Crescent Guard. And of course, another second taken or added to the Audacious Charge, the dash that he has for himself here. But still strong early, still good stats, able to duel with the best of them there. So that's what Perry is looking to do. That's where he's going to stake his claim in this early game.
The Xayah Rakan duo in the
like
bot lane. Dime, very aggressive player. Likes to be the one to start off a lot of the fights. We saw it before. Even if it wasn't the flash forward with hostile takeover, there's a flash forward with handshake instead. Just bringing them back in. And here has even more ability to set up these fights for the team.
Of course, and it's great for that reason. And the duo is good for the synergy. But it's also nice because once you see Kai'Sa and Xin Zhao, you already know what this whole comp is about, Magical. You know it's all in all the time. So having that bit of self-peel is going to be very nice. Well, of course, the Leo being pulled out here also means we'll see the cleanse. So you'll have cleanse, you'll have flash, and of course you'll have that feather storm. So you do set yourself up really well for a comp that does want to at least kite back a little bit here because Xayah loves to do that. And at this point, you're just looking at your soul landers now for both teams.
But this is where the question is.
Yeah.
2 times I've seen Xayah here in Academy. It has been lethality, Xayah. Not crit, but lethality.
That's true.
And so I'm curious whether or not that is going to be the case for Golden Guardians as well. They could easily flop around that since they have good consistent damage coming in from Viego. And the poke that you would have with Xayah on lethality duty in the bot lane would be nice, but it also is not the easiest. Just setting up those feathers properly, making sure that you're always in these tight quarters to take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it could work, especially because of you could make use of the range of your abilities so that you could attack Sketch from that distance, especially if he's going to be the one handling that Kai'Sa. Of course, we don't know just yet. I think this is a pretty good setup for that Kai'Sa mid, just because of the fact that you do have a lot of CC, a lot of this damage on this Xin Zhao, who's going to be able to make space in these skirmishes so you can see Leo get his abilities off if he ends up going for that pick. We are seeing the LeBlanc taken away. That matchup for Kai'Sa mid can be tenuous, so that could also hint at the mid play, but of course also you do want to remove some more shove and roam options from Ryoma, that player we keep highlighting because of how impactful he is for this team.
I'm looking to see what is possible for Leo to take here. If they want to grab Leo's champion, or if they want to hold on to the possibility that Kai'Sa is going to flex around. Especially because now with an Aurelia and Trinimir both banned towards Faisal, you're left with a little bit less options that you can go for in the top lane. Faisal is a player that you already talked about, we've talked about, Tim talked about, everyone's talked about how he plays in the top lane, his champion pool, the Fioras that he can bust out as well, for things that can take over games, but you don't want to take those blind, especially not into Tony top.
No, but you know what? I agree with picking top here. I was thinking Camille, Jace would be a great option as well. Having that ranged poke leading into the all-in, I think fits really well with what EGP want to do, and it's like you said, Magical, we're leaving it up in the air. Is Leo taking Kai'Sa? Is Sketch taking Kai'Sa? Who knows? But playing into the Syndra, maybe Sketch should take Kai'Sa.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it's going to be that Syndra or Orianna is the other option that I was looking for this mid lane, especially if you're going to have something like Chime onto Rakan. But instead, they grab Camille. And this really screams to me that Orianna or Galio are going to be the 2 picks. With the Galio being hovered, they have so many tools to dive in and counter dive as well. I like the lockdown potential on the side of Golden Guardians Academy as well to make sure that they can lock down numbers. But instead, they go for Syndra, and Kai'Sa mid is looking more like an option for Leo.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I think I would prefer the mage option, just playing it into the Syndra. You are going to get shoved in by Syndra, so something
that is true.
A mage I think is going to be better there for Leo. I really don't think it's the Xerath. I've never seen him do it. The Azir definitely makes a little more sense. I think I think early on you'll still get pushed in, but you will be able to contest mid push pretty soon. And we are going to see that one come through. And overall, this does kind of add to what this comp wants to do, where you have all the CC to go in. You have Perry, Leo, Sketch, Daption, of course, who can be looking to move in and make these plays.
And also, one of the things I really like about the competition on Evil Genius's Prodigy side is, well, where normally you look at a Kai'Sa, you see a Azir on the team too, and then you look at the poke that can come in base late game, and you think, late game. But it's really that mid game, especially how good they are at taking neutral objectives when you have stuff like Azir and Kai'Sa on your team.
Yes, it's a really good point. The DPS is going to be really good later on into the game. And of course, you highlighted the poke being really good for Faisal as well. So the thing is, too, I think this is a good draft overall for EGP. It's clear what they want to be doing at every point in the game. On the other side, Golden Guardians, they're the same. You have a good mid-jungle duo here with this Viego, with the Syndra. You're going to be really good at skirmishing, and you got a lot of upfront damage coming through. And of course, when we get to the later team fights, Chime, who we talked about, he's going to be really great with these all-ins, with these engages on the Rakong to set it up. And with Tony Top also able to dive in as well, you have a good 5v5 here on the side of GG. And what we saw last time in Game 1 Magical, 5v5, that's where they love to be. That's where they live. That's where they reside because they are so good.
And with this draft too, I'm a little bit more confident with how their lanes will play out. Even looking at this mid lane, last time it was the counter pick Leo took with that Renekton. They flexed into the mid lane that got that solo kill early on, but didn't manage to get the full snowball rolling. Here, Syndra into Azir. There are more tools for Ryoma to push back against Leo, gain a little bit more of a foothold, and even set up lane priorities on their side.
That's right. This early game, once again, going to be so very important for both of these teams as we go into Game 2, our second match of the day. Magical EGP again backs against the wall. They need this win if they want to keep themselves going in the series, stay in the winners bracket. And I like the Magical, because we gotta play.
Placed down by Iconic just outside of the second brush. Have vision if they step too far forward, and they do. So Tony Top will know full well all 5 members were looking for him to hunt him down and gain an early advantage.
And already level 1 play does end up being thwarted by some good due diligence there from Golden Guardians. And still, you have some things going for you early on. Perry, his pathing is going to be the most interesting thing for me, Alex. Where is he going to go in the early minutes? I think he's going to continue pathing to bot like he usually does, but I think top is an option because Faisal, player we keep talking about, is on this Jason lane. You can definitely, and more often than not, should play for in these early levels, is also a place he could go.
Almost wondering if Fairy actually even just looks for an early gank into the spot lane. We have not
Usually
mirror
level
matchups
2,
this
yeah.
time, but we have opposite. Both of them starting on the blue buff. Faisal won't even notice.
Look at Chime.
But
Look at Chime.
Chime, yeah, sneaky, sneaky. Okay.
Oh, perfect.
I know. We were waiting. We were waiting on bated breath. I was wondering what. Hey, you know what I'll say for Chime? Gets a flash out of Leo. That sets up Iconic for a perfect place to look for an early game.
Absolutely. He could clear his top side, easily show up if Leo's pushed too far up, and that's an easy stun into a kill. At least being the Azir, you do have that slide to be able to save yourself a little bit, but still vulnerable for these next couple of minutes from a nice heads-up play. Even though Chime will lose a bit of XP for it, you're really happy about that play. Yeah, it's fine. It's no big deal.
Yeah, so that's not a big loss at all. It's honestly, I think Chime being down a little bit of experience, Violet absorbing most of it for the team works out because I see a summon Airy in that ruin spot for Violet, which to me screams this is lethality Xayah that we'll see.
Yeah, you're right. That's usually how that one ends up playing out. And I like the ward from Ryoma. I also like the movement from Perry. He avoids the Raptors camp, and instead, he's making the call to move topside. You can see it. Faisal is stacking a very big wave because Iconic is going in the other way. This is an easy dive that's going to come through here.
Well, let's see how Tony Top plays this. This guy has been a monster with absorbing pressure for his team and escaping danger in the past. There's an answer in the bot lane with Ignite on a sketch, even getting an engage coming in from Dabchin. He's doing his damage.
Oh, that's the kill.
He's going to die to first blood. Let's get back top lane because that dive's still going. I talk about absorbing that pressure coming in from Tony Top, and he could not absorb enough. It's going to be a flash forward from Faisal to pick up his own kill. 2
flashes burned by the side of EGP, but you get the first kill, and it goes over to Faisal. Doesn't get any better, but now we have a play going mid lane as well.
As right now, EGP Leo.
Ooh.
Hey, nicely done with the fancy feet to dodge away from certain danger.
Yeah, that's a big deal, especially because the fact that you get first blood as Violet in the isolated 2v2 really looks good already for the Xayah in the earlier parts of the game, and it does already hamper the play we saw topside, but you're still happy Faisal got that first kill in the top lane because now you can really start to keep him going, allow him to snowball here because he's going to be one of your big win cons later on into the game.
Exactly. With that early TP back into lane 2, Tear of the Goddess already completed for Jace. Starting to stack that up as early as possible. Going to be big wins for EGP. There's a bit answered, though, with that bot lane play. The fact that Violet and Chime were able to essentially get a solo kill onto Daption. Forced out Sketch for the time being, but the fact is, it is that lethality Xayah that we're seeing. With the Tear of the Goddess built up, looking for the serrated Dirk, not really going to have much that you can do in the ways of clearing out these minions as quickly as Sketch can.
No, that is the thing going for you here if you're a Sketch. Sketch actually has pretty good CS lead built up for himself. Of course, there's a stacked wave Violet will farm, so that will narrow a little bit, but being able to get that is still going to make up for that kill going through. You are going to be able to close that gap a little bit, and it is going to give that opening for Daption to already start moving around the map. This Leona trying to see what kind of impact he can have here as Perry, of course, is going for the invade. Here's a 1v1.
Secures, but keep in mind, they didn't have the mid lane set up to help out Perry, and it was actually Toady Top the first to collapse.
Oh, and it says he said you didn't have Leo who's going to be able to move. He's been under pressure all game, and because you get caught out there, it's not really worth the grump that you end up taking. You give a kill over to Iconic on this Viego, who you know is going to snowball really well. And that is not a good sign so far for EGP's early game, especially because last early game, in the game that they lost, Magical, EGP were running things in the first 5-10 minutes.
And look at this again. Iconic is on the side in case he wants to help out the team. They got a lot of damage onto Leo, but he has no flash still. A couple seconds off with the Scatter of the Week kill. Ryoma takes his first kill of the game. EGP, unfortunately, they are just getting outclassed by Golden Guardians Academy. The classes from 2020 Scouting Grounds better than those of 2021.
And now really the only thing you can hope to look for in this early game is Faisal. You can see him, he's got a big CS lead. He has the kill. He's already stacking up the tier, and that's who you got to imagine Perry is going to be looking towards, clearing back to the top lane, trying to set up more dives here. And you can already see it with this gold toggle, where you see a good amount of gold leads, 1,000 for Ryoma, a couple hundred for Violet and Iconic. And the one bright spot in this early game for EGP is Faisal. Up almost 1,000 gold on his end here. Now he's coming back to lane with the serrated Dirk, which is a big deal for Jason his laning phase. And hopefully Perry will be there to help him out.
While the early game might not be going so well for Evil Genius's Prodigies at this moment, like you said, they do have those other win conditions. We look towards Faisal, but we also look down to the bot lane. Sketch, he might be a bit behind Violet at the moment with CS.
A little bit.
But he's still keeping up well enough and making sure that he's constantly getting this experience, not really falling behind or getting forced out of lane too hard.
Right now, though, Daption getting forced out of his side of the jungle here. Going to respect Chime that he is level up. Also, with that ward cleared in time, again, Ryoma using that priority in the mid lane to help set up a very dangerous dive.
And that's going to be the difficult part for Sketch doing his damnedest to survive.
Whoa, Sketch gets the kill!
On top, but they get one kill. Could they turn it around for more? They've got 2 kills so far, but that was a nice Feather Storm with the recall. Double kill out of Violet, but the turret was still focused. Oh! Barely does he survive.
No, and honestly, Sketch and Daption, they played that as well as you could have ever hoped, Magical, but still 4 people committing to this bot play. And I mean, look at Sketch for one thing. He dodges that grand entrance so nicely, gets the kill on to Chime, but you still have so many people here. Unleash Power coming through. Iconic does fall, but it goes on to Daption. So realistically, it's 2 for Violet, 1 for Sketch and Daption each. Golden Guardians take that any day of the week.
Oh, but we go back to live and we go back to mid as Perry finds his own kill and then top lane. That was an ultimatum. Laid down onto Faisal, and Faisal, you're getting the same treatment you got last game. You're getting visited by 3 members.
And it's brutal. Golden Guardians Academy, they are not letting off the gas, Magical. They have this bit of a lead they've gotten themselves. 1,000 gold at 8 minutes, and they're going to keep it going. They're going to keep the pressure up, and because of this commitment, they've rotated Violet mid. They're going to probably have him move back after this wave as Realma's heading mid. But ultimately, you're not going to gain much for this if you're EGP. You've got yourself the first Rift Herald. Golden Guardians ready to snowball this game.
Yeah, and we go back into this replay and look at how it initially happened. It was just a nice, fancy footwork from Leo.
And that's kind of what you're hoping for with the Azir pick in terms of playmaking, but it's brutal because, again, Golden Guardian is not letting off the gas. You see the play happen mid, well, another play is happening top, and it means that constantly Golden Guardians are just ahead of the curve, even more so than they were in game one. And there isn't even an opening for Dragon to be taken for EGP, so they don't manage to gain anything for this Rift Herald being taken.
Well, and we look at Golden Guardians, this team that had at one point been the #1 seed in Academy, but just fell short right at the bitter end against CLG Academy and Cloud9 Academy. This is a dominant team. They always have a blow for a blow. They look for these plays constantly, never letting up that pressure, as you had talked about. We're seeing that translated into the series against Evil Genius's Prodigies, and now we have to see how this amateur team can bounce back. I've mentioned this before. These are a lot younger players, newer on the scene, a lot of them. This is even their first time in Proving Grounds. There is a lot of pressure, and it's a hard team to face off against initially.
Violet is in a bit of trouble.
Why is Daption playing so far forward? Maybe that's why. That was a nice feather call, though. Not enough. I thought for sure that they had overextended. Daption went too far, but it was Sketch who picks up the kill, and now they get free far.
That is a big shutdown coming through, and I mean, you don't have anyone who's going to be able to answer this wave. Sketch's health is too low, though, so he's going to recall, but also, it's just overall really nice play there. Violet overstepping for a turret plate means he gets some extra gold into EGP's pocket, and now Perry, because look at Faisal. Nice. That's in the 1v1, and Perry is, of course, going to show up. This time around, he's in a better spot for the invade. Tony Top can't do anything about it. Faisal is nearby if needed. And you know Iconic is on the other side of the map here.
Forcing out Tony Top's TP top lane again here. 10 minutes into the game. Not that empowered TP that you get, the unlocked one. Now you get all that gold, you get more plates for Faisal. It will be at the cost of that dragon taken by Iconic.
Right, and Iconic, he's going to go bot with this Rift Herald here. He's already in the area. The wave is being shoved in by Violet as we speak. And with 2 turret plates already taken, they should be able to actually turn that into a turret take. And that's going to be a lot of gold here into Violet, just as Sketch was starting to catch back up.
Yeah, Sketch is still in a good spot, though. We can't forget about that with the crash, not fully taking the turret, but a lot of plate gold picked up by Iconic and Violet. They already have Dragon. They can all reset, get more items to try to see if they can gain more of a foothold in that bot lane, because top lane, Faisal, he TP back to answer that TP from Tony Top, and look at the CS differential between the top laners.
And again, that's the bright spot here in this early game for EGP. He's 30 CS up. He has the Mythic already. Oh, hold on.
Yo, he can't even flash away that time. He's dead easily.
And like I was saying, at least EGP can play more towards top. Perry is able to show up. The thing is, Iconic knows.
No. Iconic showed up at the same time. They've got a lot of damage on top of Perry, but there's going to be the dive back into the back line looking for Perry. He's so low, but they got the kill onto Tony Top. The flash comes in from Iconic, and here's Shine to save the day, but so is Daption on the other side. That's a solar flare connecting on it too, but they couldn't keep Faisal alive. It's a double kill for Iconic. Daption now dead, mate. No ability to escape. No flash either. Triple kill for Iconic.
And an excellent read coming through from Golden Guardians Academy's junglers. You know that Faisal is all EGP have left in this game, so he shows up top to help out his top laner, and you can see it well right on time. And because of the hook shot, Tony Top is able to join sooner, and that is enough to make the difference in this fight. And you know it, Magical. Once Viego starts resetting, there isn't a whole lot you can do, as that puts Iconic at 5-1. Not to mention the 2 turret plates that he just picked up on that top lane.
We also see from that replay that it was a little bit of a time advantage for Chime. He showed up about a second and a half before Daption could. That allowed so much damage to be placed down on a Faisal before Daption could even really help him. Even though it was a nice solar flare, there's just too little, too late.
And I think the thing, too, is that a lot of what Golden Guardians have been doing this game is because Ryoma in this matchup has been getting the better of Leo. Of course, it all starts with that play we just saw. I think Perry is okay. Yeah, he's going to walk away, right? Maybe not.
Maybe not. That was a good scatter of the week, though. From Ryoma, getting a lot of damage on Daption, and look at Leo going to the back line. They got a shutdown for Perry. This could be the turnaround. Class of 2021, looking for a lot of damage on top of Ryoma and Golden Guardians with Sketch on the other side, but it's going to be them. Instead, chase down the flash away with the flash going too. Perry back into the back line. Violet, he's already gone up into the air, so they could turn this around if they want to. Keep in mind that Sketch is hiding out in the wings. With that whole fight on the other side, Leo will fall. Killing spree comes in from Ryoma with the re-engage on Perry. He's got Violet's number. He kills them, but now he himself will be taken out. Ryoma, he himself will be 5-1.
And the trades just continue to be lopsided in favor of Golden Guardians Academy. They get caught out. They make the best of it magical, but it is not enough. And now Sketch. Oh, wait.
Okay. Sketch? Sketch?
Oh my God, Sketch!
Okay, let's go, Sketch!
Wow, that's what we like to see, Sketch. Another player in the amateur scene who's gotten a lot of hype around him. And you know what? We got to give him that one, Magical. That was pretty nice.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. That was a nice one. He says, hey, I know you don't have flash. You use your ult. You don't have very much mana, and I have everything. I got you.
Yeah, really nice. And my whole thought process there, too, is like, oh, Ryoma, Syndra sees the lone 80 carry. Well, GG. Well, turns out Ryoma was trapped in there with Sketch. And you know what? I'm still going to go into my Ryoma point because I think Ryoma still had a big impact on this early game. I'm sticking to it, Magical, because the fact that ever since that level 1 play came with Chime, he has just been running this matchup against Leo, and that's given Iconic this ability to, one, answer these plays elsewhere on the map because he almost never has to worry about Ryoma, and also it allows Ryoma to set up those dives we saw happen earlier on into the game, and that's why at 15 minutes, despite the answer backs, Golden Guardians are still up 1,000 gold, and it's going to be more because Violet is getting what looks like the first turret of the game, and even though there's no plate, they can get some kills.
Well, they've got the stun on the parry, and there's Chime with the quickness, with the pop-up, too. It's another kill for Iconic, and look at Ryomo, how much damage he does to Leo, even with that burst divided, doesn't save his own life. They've got the class of 2020 dominating 2021. More kills abound for Golden Guardians Academy. As Sketch, this time you can't be a hero for the team. You have to run all the way back to your base.
Man, it's a really nice play coming through there. Insane stun up from knock up into Charm from Chime. It prevented Perry from even using the Crescent Guard. Still there, still available, but now, because of that invade, the gold lead continues to grow. It actually balloons between that and the turret, and it means yet another dragon is going through. And you can see it, Alex. Faisal, he's doing well top lane. He's almost 40 CS up now. He's almost whittled down that turret to nothing. But it's not enough because EGP, they can't find anything anywhere else.
I was about to say, what does it matter? You get the turret, you got this lead for Jace if they can't fully utilize it. Right now, the poke on a Ryoma, but he spotted him out with little mana. He's chasing this. He's not deterred, but Perry is there to answer. Make sure that it's not going to be too easy for Ryoma. Diving to Adaption. Where did you come from? He's going to RKO him out of nowhere and let Perry take down that kill.
Yeah, that was a little ambitious from Ryoma. I won't lie. It was a little aggressive. He does get caught out for it in the end, and that's a nice kill. It's going to give you priority over that Rift Herald. It's got to be, so you got to imagine EGP should be able to get that one. But with Leo, no TP, moving back to the bot side, instead, EGP are conceding it here. And I think Faisal has a lot of gold. I think he wants to recall TP back here so that they can maybe contest it. But by then, Ryoma's back. Ryoma has TP, and it means Iconic is the one who can take the Herald.
So another neutral objective will be secured by Golden Guardians Academy. EGP, not really in the ways of fighting back just yet, especially because not only do you have to contend against Ryoma, like you talked about, 6-3, even if it was a good pick before, he's still scary. Use the TP bot lane because Iconic is there to answer as well. Those are the big carries at the moment for Golden Guardians Academy that they can rely on.
And I think just look at what Evil Genius Prodigies can do to get themselves back into it. It's going to end up being a big team fight, a big engage coming through. I mean, we talked about the dive, the all-in potential that this comp has. Having Daption on this Leona, try and find an engage angle with the Zenith Blade, with that Solar Flare. Maybe Leo with the Emperor's Divide to get a big shuffle, a big amount of CC could be what they need, because you need to be able to get picks in these team fights, and you need to not allow Iconic to start resetting, because that is where all these fights have gone awry for EGP. Iconic, Viego things, gets a kill. Well, guess what? I'm about to pick up a couple more.
When we look at how they can fight these team fights on the side of Golden Guardians, they have such great space-making tools in Camille, in Xayah and Rakan, as well as Scatter the Weak from Ryoma. You can see right there, there was enough threat on Adaption, who's supposed to be one of the tankier members of EGP, because he saw they had no control over that river. Now Perry has to use the ult defensively just to escape from Chime, but he's already got the quickness to be able to get the knockup on top of Perry with the Unleashed power as well for Ryoma to take another kill.
And this is just what we've been seeing over and over again, not just from Golden Guardians, but also from Immortals, using that priority they have, the gold lead, the strength that they have earned to get really aggressive, get up in the enemy jungles here. And we saw it again just now. They know they have the lead. They know they have wave push. So they know that they can catch out people like Perry, who are simply trying to farm out their own jungle. And that is what's been causing EGP to fall further behind, getting picked off like that.
And you gotta imagine, you talked about the nerfs that Xin Zhao had on this patch too. The whole
They're starting
second
to
off that
show.
crescent. Yeah, exactly. Right there. You normally could buy so much space as Xin Zhao. But there, it was that 1 second, even if it doesn't seem like much, was enough time for Golden Guardians to get the kill and get out before EGP could collapse.
Yeah, because Xin Zhao's that kind of champion where you're looking to buy time with that pick. You need seconds so that your team can follow up. And that 1 extra second makes all the difference here. Is now, oh,
Okay,
wow.
hook shot in from Tony Chop, but Leo, he's okay. He got a lot more damage, but with Chime showing up, same with Violet, Perry, and Sketch have to try to show up to give reinforcements to the team. Rift World has been popped this entire time. That is a solar flare into the back line. That's a lot of damage on top of these members, but it's going to be Daps in the first casualty in the entire
coming.
fight with Ryoma, seeing the TP on the other side. They've got way more damage onto Perry. They've got a fight between Faisal and Ryoma. Who's the bigger carry at the moment? The flash coming in for Ryoma to be able to survive, and he's won it out. Faisal could not turn that around, so instead, he is getting chased down by Chime.
And a beautiful fight coming on 2 fronts for Golden Guardians Academy. And it's going to be EGP who are limping away. Because even though the Rift Herald does not get another charge, Golden Guardians, oh my God!
Goes in, finds Tony Top. So at least they take one to the grave. A lot of damage on a Violet. No killer instinct, though. Sketch can't follow that up unless he can land another one of these Void Seekers.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Evolve W, if you keep landing them, you get the cooldown back, or at least most of it. But he misses one, so he gets to walk away. And man, it was a good try from EGP, but they continue to fall further and further behind, Alex. You can see it, 5K in favor of Golden Guardians Academy. And your only hope for EGP is that you are reaching some crucial item spikes. And we're going to take a look at this play again. You see the Herald come through. It's basically 4 versus 1 because Dashin gets isolated at the turret. And already it's a losing fight as a result. You can see it. Perry trying to buy all the time he can while Ryoma expertly zones away Faisal. You said it, Magical. Carry versus carry. And Ryoma won it out.
Exactly, buying that space for the team. Even if Shelly didn't get a secondary charge, and this is a good consolation prize for EGP to find this pick onto Tony Top, but it's just that, a consolation prize. What do they gain afterwards? They don't really get anything. There's still vision inside their jungle. The Dragon, third one of the game, been started up by Golden Guardians Academy with no answer for EGP.
We know it's going to be a Cloud Soul as well, which ends up benefiting Chime, I think, more than anybody else, Magical. It really sets you up for the engages that he has already been so good at. His kill participation right now is insane, Magical. 17 of the 20 kills Golden Guardians have, he has been a part of. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, this just shows you how Chime plays around the map. This guy, this is why I highlighted him before on what he does for the team and how he's played with 2 ADCs in this split alone and has shown such growth over the course of spring.
It's been unreal. We've seen it in Academy. We've seen it in the PG close qualifier that GGA took part in. Now we're going to see if Daption and Faisal can find this play into the side lane, because it feels like that's what you are relegated to when you are so far behind, trying to send a few members to one side of the map. Try and pick this isolated solo laner, but showing your hand like that opens up a chance for a Baron.
Yeah, they just pulled the trigger onto that. Chime has found an angle behind them. Perry didn't even realize. So now Perry's in a bad spot. Quick, just pop,
no.
knock up. Perry, you had the smite, but no longer are you a part of the fight.
It wasn't even a fight. That was a brawl, Alex. They bullied him out. They took him down, and now they can do the Baron for real. That's going to be more gold into Golden Guardians' pocket, extending their lead that much further. You still have 4 members. No Chime ultimate, so maybe EGP can stop it.
Look at Ryoma. He is waiting. He is on the flank, looking for EGP to overstep their welcome. Tony Top dives into the backline. They've got way more damage onto Leo. They've got the kill and the Baron on top of it all. This is the class of 2020 outclassing that of 2021. I've said it before and I'll say it again. They pick up all the kills they possibly need. Getting flashes from Daption, getting flashes from Sketch. Back to the base they go.
And limp to the base stage shall, Magical, as yet again Golden Guardians win another fight. They get the Baron. All members stay alive, and you can see it. Iconic stays to finish it while the rest of the team goes through. Even the craziest thing to me is that Tony Top gets to walk away from that situation there. The
I
battle
know.
dance from Chime, so clutch, setting up the rest of this fight to come through here. And you saw that play from Faisal. Desperation, he knew he was done, and he couldn't even secure one kill. EGP are really in the blender right now.
Down at 3 dragons, just one more for the soul out of GGA. Baron in their pockets as well, and you can see the gold differential ballooning. 7,000 now Golden Guardians have over EGP. They're forced back to their base, do or die. They already lost game 1. This is game 2 of the best of 3. They lose this, they are down to the lower bracket, and Chime wants to be the one to sentence them to
Look
their
at the
death and their
charm.
fate. That was beautiful from Chime as Dapshin did his best to create space, but he just couldn't survive long enough. This is Golden Guardians opening up the base of EGP, unless Leo can be a
Whoa, big
hero.
goals!
He's a big hero there, but he's getting rooted in place. A kill on a Faisal. It wasn't enough. Nice try, Leo, but you still die.
And it's so brutal here. That's the power of that pick from Violet. He gets to ult constantly to avoid the Emperor's Divide from Leo, limiting the impact in what seemed to be very big plays. And it just gets worse and worse and worse here, as even though Sketch is trying to poke away at 2.5 items, that's 2 inhibs gone for EGP, and that is almost all their hopes in this series.
With a minute and a half until the soul is available for Golden Guardians as well, they just reset, spend a lot of that gold they earned in that fight. They can easily take that or the base, whichever they prefer.
Right, and it's a minute out, so you're waiting for this dragon to come through and secure the soul. The thing is, because it's so important for EGP, all you got to do is wait for them to show up and take the fight after. Even though Baron will expire by that point, Magical, one more team fight is all you need to close this series, advance, and send EGP to the lower bracket.
But look at Chime. You already talked about it before, the kill participation this Rakan has. It is insane.
All but 3 kills.
1 and 22. Exactly. And I think those were solo kills that happened. That's the damage. Where did Leo go? Roma deletes him. They look to delete Perry as well. Double kill picked up by the Oceanic mid laner as they chase back Evil Genius's Prodigies. Golden Guardians Academy, they're here to sentence death with a triple kill for Ryoma. Do they go for the Penta? Do they try to set him up for even more with Sketch back to the base? They've got enough damage. It won't be the Penta, but it will surely be the game. Golden Guardians Academy are here to win Proving Ground.
They're going to try and end it, Magical, but we got spawn timers coming up. We're not that late in the game yet. 10 seconds on Perry and Leo, and the wave is only just showing up here, but Tony Top is backing. If he TP's in, we know they're looking for the close. Yeah, they want to end it here and now.
They've got only Sketch that stands before them. Perry and Leo might have spawned, but they've already lost their next search with Leo going to the back line, punching him into the fountain so they can get a kill onto Ryoma. But what does it matter when the Nexus is falling? The damage is there. The kills are all Golden Guardians. They are golden in this game. They will take victory 2-0.
And a very powerful showing coming from our other Academy team on the day. Golden Guardians very convincingly take this series here in even more convincing fashion than in game 1. Magical. It's a great game coming through here. And we saw Ryoma manage to have that impact early on the Syndra. And honestly, I just like, you when you're looking at that game, you want to go across the board and just talk about everybody here. But like, you know, hand on the Bible, gun to my head, I'm going to say Chime. I think Chime played out of his mind this game. Ryoma played really well. Everybody played really well. But I think the one being a part of so many kills, two, finding all these insane engage angles on the Rakan, just he played really well.
Oh yeah, it was his game. It was his playground. He pretty much was the one moving around the map first. Dapshin was always trying to answer him, but always a step or two behind. And it showed in those fights, in the collapses, where Chime's like, hey, Perry's out of position. I can jump on him. No longer is there smite. We can get the objective.
No, and that's the thing too. I was expecting things to end on that last dragon fight coming through, but at the end of the day, Golden Guardians, they found the opening. They found the play to get that fight and just push towards the end there. And of course, even though EGP do have a second life, they will be sent down to that lower bracket. And I mean, we'll give them some credit there. And I really meant what I said on Sharking Grounds, where they are a team where, look, in spring, things don't always look the greatest for them, but they are the team that ends up making very few changes towards the end of the year between spring and summer, because they really focus on that development aspect of amateur. And that's why I'm still looking for this roster, not only to do well in the lower bracket, but also to do well in the future.
I think that's what people always forget about the proving grounds part of this. It is not only about proving your stuff
That's
on
right.
the Rift here, but it's also getting developed to prove yourself for the future. That way you can show that you have that spark. You know how to work with the team. Like you
Absolutely.
said, I'm looking forward to see how they bounce back in the lower bracket or even in summer. But with that 2-0 victory, Golden Guardians Academy will move forward in the winners bracket. We're going to toss a break. When we come back, we'll have an interview with the Golden Guardians, so make sure you stay tuned.
I gotta say, something's going wrong, and everything's upside down. I'm falling. Hey, I gotta say, I'm always on a run. I'm getting closer to the light, and everything's going down. Yeah, everything's going down. And everything's going down. Yeah, everything's going down.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I am here with Iconic from Golden Guardians Academy. First off, congratulations. How are you feeling after the 2-0 win?
Felt good to win, yeah.
It must be, it must be great coming into this and managing to grab that dub. Evil Geniuses, Prodigies. It's a good showing, but ultimately at the end, your team was just way too strong. Yourself as well. You seem to pop off. Are you happy with your own performance going into today?
Yeah, I think I played well, and my teammates played well to like enable me. So I think we just did a good job playing together and making good plays. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it is a team game at the end of the day, so that teamwork and coming together, fantastic to hear. But there's a lot of great teams in Proving Grounds right now. What do you think it is different about your team that might be able to take y'all all the way?
Hard to say, I guess. Can't just expose our big strengths, but I think our support Chime is like a really good engager, I guess, and you can like get a lot of good fights started for us. So got a lot of trust in him to make good stuff happen.
Yeah, Triumph had a fantastic performance as well. And I won't push you for any team secrets. My bad. I want y'all to keep that for yourselves. But then talking about yourself, being able to skip Academy last year, just go straight to LCS and now playing in Academy, what did you really learn from that entire experience that you've been able to take forward with you?
And I guess I just learned a lot from playing with like really experienced players and like a really good coaching staff. Just took a lot from that. Just all the lessons. I learned a lot of lessons that year, and yeah, just trying to bring them into this season.
That's awesome. And then just to create a little bit of rivalries out here in Proving Grounds, what is one team that you would love to pair up against just to 2-0 them into oblivion?
I'm not sure. I kind of want to play against FlyQuest because I have one of my friends from school's on that team, Spirax, so it'd be fun playing them.
Yeah, they got that little friend rivalry, a chance to face off. I like it. I dig it. Before I let you go and celebrate, I will let you have the floor for any shoutouts or any parting words that you might have.
Shout out to my team and coaches for sticking with it, and yeah, shout out to everyone that's supporting me, and we're gonna try to keep it going.
It's awesome. I love to hear it. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it. But for the rest of us, it's time to head back over to the desk. We're going to talk with Tim to talk about the rest of the day, how things were shaking up. Hello, long time no talk, friend.
Yeah, it's that was a pretty quick series. Again, like both of these series, I think they had moments where I was like, oh boy, it looks like we might be in for a full 3 games. But at the end of the day, I think the experience of the Academy teams definitely made a big difference, and they were able to kind of overcome some setbacks and finish out their games.
Yeah, I feel like talking about the experience is a really good way to put that, because we did see some really good things come out from our amateur teams, but even when they were ahead, just that ability to come back into the games, just that little edge from experience. So it's nice to know that that's somewhere where the amateur players can get to, especially since we've seen a lot of bright moments from them today.
Yeah, it definitely, you end up seeing these moments of kind of a knowledge gap where the amateur players have kind of the skill set. They have the ability to 1v1 or 3v3 these teams. We saw it both in the first series, we saw it in the second series. If you just get into a bunch of skirmishes and brawls and fights, the amateur teams can go toe-to-toe. The amateur players can go toe-to-toe. But when you then start to play out like, oh, but who's maximizing, how well they're catching all the waves, and who's cross-mapping a play while they're losing a skirmish somewhere else, and just being efficient, right? It really, when you look at the difference between these teams, the Academy teams have been so much more efficient. They come out with these 20 CS leads, even though the kills are going the other team's way. They're knocking down turrets here and there. And that really is something where you can just see, oh, there's a knowledge gap there of the Academy teams know what to do and make the right choices so that even when something goes wrong in a fight, they can still end up getting an advantage of some sort and keeping themselves in the game, or extending their lead even further if they do win the fight. So that's definitely something that these amateur teams are, great players here, more time, more knowledge imparted to them, and we're going to be able to see them go further and further.
Definitely. And something that I want to see a little bit further too is these bingo cards that we were talking about at the beginning, particularly yours. I know that you've been looking at it throughout the day. I'm curious if you managed to get a line.
Well, let's have a look at it, and I can pull mine up here. So this was my card. I had a bunch of these, and a few of them that I filled in. I got both match predictions right. I got a few things about concepts in which champions he played. Now, Chime engaged for a bunch of kills, but I don't think I ever saw him engage for a full ace. There was a Baron steal. There was a bunch of stuff, and this is what I ended up checking off. And it was close, but nobody made a taco joke for real. Nobody mentioned Tommy time, which Ryoma had a few moments where you could have definitely gone for the Tommy time. I don't know. Pentakill is a bit of a reach. A few of these just didn't quite pan out the way I hoped, but maybe that's just the karma I needed when my actual series predictions came off so clean, and when the max games in the series curse didn't get activated. So, I can't win them all.
I mean, if Taco Gaming managed to grab a game, I definitely had the pun lined up. I could have been that little for you, but...
But then I would have denied a different square of mine, so, what are you going to do?
You're right. You're right. Plus, I can't throw the bingo cards off like that. So, I'll have to wait till next time. But maybe not a line, but it was still pretty good considering the reputation that I had heard. But also, I think it's time for a Samsung Fast 5. Chance to look over these stats, see how things been stacking up the fastest of things, mind you.
Yeah, a bunch of these things pretty impressive. The fastest 10k gold. We've had a few bot laners, do really well at generating all that gold. Yuji's level 6 at 653 is a really big lead over what Rapid has managed here. You look at the supports and you get an item transform from Busio that's almost a full minute faster than Shady at second place. And APA, his mythic item, 2 minutes faster than Kaidwo second place. That's a really, really fast transform. Or mythic item rather. And Niles, of course, leading in the fastest to 100 CS for the top laners. So some of these players, we're going to see these records get overtaken by other players throughout Proving Grounds. But they're going to need to keep working at these and see who can hit these milestones a little bit faster. Because I don't think any of these are at all unreachable or unattainable. No. All of these can be overtaken still.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. I like, too, that it was from a variety of different teams. Everything was pretty spread out. There's not just one that's overly dominating. That's the real stat to shoot for. That's the real thing that you want to be winning here. But I think it's time that we look up the bracket, see how things really just shook up over the last couple of days. I think the biggest note and the biggest thing to really look at is the amateur teams. Of course, for today, now that we're in round 2, they're not going to be knocked out. They're just going to be knocked down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, so we'll have some matchups emerging in the lower bracket. Here we've got Immortals Academy moving on. They're going to be playing against the winner of either CLG Academy or EG Academy. CLG definitely a big favorite in this tournament, so we'll see whether they advance. GG Academy will be playing up against either No Team, one of the strongest amateur teams, or 100 Thieves Academy, who had to come in through the play-ins. So that No Team versus 100 Thieves Academy will be a really, really interesting match to see, and then they'll play against Golden Guardians Academy. Looked pretty strong today. That'll be a tough one. And then we've got a lot of other teams ready to come next week as this tournament plays out.
Yeah, already seeing how things were shaking up today. I really just can't wait to see how things are going to continue on going on into the tournament. My hope and what I want to see is next time one of those amateur teams being able to grab one of the series. We've seen that they've been able to take a win, just not a series win yet. So that's what I'm looking for. But that is all for next time. That's all for the next broadcast. We're going to take a look and see what you should be keeping an eye out for in terms of broadcasts and when those games that you want to see. We're going to be back, I believe, March 21st with the next little step in the Proving Grounds. Yeah,
Monday we'll be back with some more matches. We'll have Team Liquid Academy against Winthrop University. and Immortals AOE up against Evil Geniuses Academy. So I believe, those will both be a couple of really good matches too.
Yeah, Immortals AoE and Winthrop University were two eyes we're definitely keeping an eye on in amateur. So be interesting to see how they'll be able to fare now that we're in Proving Grounds. But that's all for next week. We are at the end of our broadcast and time to say goodbye. First though, Tim, thank you so much for coming on the show. You've been a wonderful guest and it's been awesome talking with you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun being here. I think we made a couple of investments that might play out pretty well in the future,
Yeah.
but we'll have to see what the return on those is. And I got both predictions right, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. I know the winning teams today feel good about it, and lots more great matches to come. So appreciate being here.
Thank you. And of course, shout outs to Beatdown Boulevard, Mad Magical, wonderful casters for today. You two were amazing. And shout out to production as well. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to everyone at home for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed, and we can't wait to see you next time. But till then, we hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening.